Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Today we're back with romance author Susan Gooch. Hey, Susan, thanks for joining us.
Hey, how are you? Thank you for having me.
I'm good. How about you? Thanks for coming on again.
Oh, I'm excited.
We are too. And today we want to discuss, Susan, with you how a background in teaching and reading and writing can assist an aspiring author. So, how has your experience as an educator influenced your writing style and approach to writing?
Well, I came to education through the background. My undergrad degree was actually in writing, and I was actually a stay-at-home mom for many, many years. And my middle son had learning disabilities, and he was not learning. And I'm certified so that if I had to teach him, and when I started teaching, I realized very quickly that people did not know how to teach writing. They didn't know how to teach structure. They didn't know how to teach text pictures. And I wanted to be, because I tend to overdo, I'll be honest, I wanted to be the best. So I got a master's in reading. And I will tell you that I believe all good writers are readers first. You just have to be.
Mm,
And for me, it is such a gift to give someone the ability to read. And I believe that if you're dyslexic or you have problems, there's a way to experience books. It may be audiobooks, it may be through videos where the books are read to you. But if you can train the brain, research tells us that. So if you get me on this, I'll go knee deep in it because it's passion for me and that's what I loved. I loved teaching reading and writing to kids. It was the greatest thing that I got to do as a job.
oh, that's fantastic. And now, how has your background in educating and your master's and just being an avid reader, how has all that helped with you being able to build a interesting world in your stories?
I think as a writer, once you read a lot, the stories start coming to you. And I don't know about other writers, but they talk to me. My characters are very much real people to me. Um, I I miss them. Like I get to missing Bennett and Taylor and Greer and Poppy, and I will reread my own book because I miss them. They're
Mm,
friends of mine. I love them. And so for me, the writing happens in my head first,
hmm.
and then it's on paper. And so
Right.
it's like a movie, and I get to know those characters. Right now, I'm working on the next book about Ben and Ella. And I was actually, before we got on, I was writing, and Ella told me something that I wasn't expecting to hear. And it sounds so crazy. It sounds like you're kind of crazy to say that, but that's how my writing happens. These people become real to me, and they tell me what their story is.
I think that's fantastic because it creates a more believable book and it empowers you and motivates you as an author. On the technique side, what techniques from your teaching career do you find that you are using or that are most useful when writing or developing characters or scenes?
Well, again, I talked about structure. And I really feel like that is so important in a story because if the structure's not there, you'll lose the reader. You have to orient them to the time and the place and who's talking, why they're talking, what their motivation is. And so for me, in a technique way, is making sure that I keep my reader in the moment. And then at the end of each chapter, I need to leave them with a little bit of a hang. Another person that really is good at this is Roland Smith. I want you to finish a chapter and go, oh, I got to know what's happening next. And so you have to
Right.
keep reading, even though it's time to go to bed. I got to keep reading because they hooked me. So that's the technique that I end every chapter. I try to end every chapter with just a little hook to make you go, well, I want to know what happens next.
In terms of outlining and planning, what does that process look like for you?
Well, for me, the whole story is already written in my head before I start. And then I sit down and I write the scenes out as if it's a movie so that I know. That doesn't mean I know everything they're going to say or everything they're going to do, but I know the overall story structure before I start. I know where I'm going to end. One of the things I wrote, it's a quote, it's actually my quote, but I had it on my room and it said, all good writing takes a reader on a journey. And
Mm,
so you have to know where you're going or you'll never get there. So for me, I would never start writing a book that I didn't know how it was going to end because what would be the point? I would just be wandering through the maze of words. So for
mm,
me, I already know what's going to happen. Now, I don't know everything that's going to happen, but I know the overall structure. And then as I have friends that read it, my editors, that's where the story gets fuller, or it expands, or it shrinks. Because sometimes I get that passionate thing going, and I go off on a tangent, and a reader will say to me, you know, my test readers, we don't need all this. You've lost me. And I don't keep the reader in the moment. So that's something that I try to do as a technique too.
Interesting. So it sounds like you are definitely more of a plotter than a pantser. And are you a big outliner? Do you outline your chapters and your scenes before?
Yes, I do. And before I even write the first word, I outline it. Now, I don't outline it to the point where this happens, this happens, this happens, but I do it enough that I know when I go into my mind and I'm writing, I'm seeing the scene. And
Mm,
another big thing that I do is I feel like that it's really important to incorporate actual places in wherever they are. Like right now in my new book, they're in Aspen. So I researched the best places to shop, the best places to eat. And I've included those, what the menu is. They're eating this because that's on the menu there. Like there's a place that does crepes, they go to the crepe store. Um, and for me, that makes it more real, especially if the reader has been there.
yes, that's very interesting. And it makes it fun for the reader to go to these places that you've written about and say, oh, you know, my favorite character had grapes here when she was in Aspen. That's fantastic. And I want to know, again, from a technical perspective, from your teaching career, what do you find most useful when going through the editing process?
For me, this is going to sound crazy, but if I'm really editing, I have to read almost backwards, meaning I start the last thing I wrote and I read a sentence backwards. Because if I read it the last chapter, I always start the last chapter I finish, and I read that before I start writing again. But I read the last sentence, each one backwards, because otherwise my brain will miss the mistakes. It will
Mm,
miss little pieces. And maybe I've said something twice and don't realize it. So that's one of my techniques, is to read sentences. And when I don't read the sentence backwards, but I read the last sentence, and then I read the sentence before it and the sentence before it. And then I come back and read it all together again. But that helps me catch little things that maybe I wouldn't see. Because if you know how the brain tricks us when we're reading and we just
hmm.
get to going and we don't see our mistakes. This will also
Exactly.
sound crazy, but I have a massive monitor. It's a television that I write on, and it's so much better for me because I
Mm,
can actually see it so clearly. I think sometimes when I'm just on my laptop, I don't see it well enough. So that's
right.
another thing for me, is a big monitor.
That's an excellent point where with the monitor you can catch the details and the small mistakes when going back and editing. I imagine it's great to have that blown up, but especially that working backwards because when you know the story and you're so close to it, you'll read right through it.
Mhm.
I can say I relate to that well because when I would send emails sometimes and they were templates or they were the same thing over and over again, but slightly things different, you know, fill in the blanks were changed, I would
Mhm.
miss mistakes because I'd say, oh, I know this already, you know, and I'd read right over it because I know the thought, but I wasn't actually reading all the words that were on the page. So that is a great insight. And to close this section, I want to know, Susan, what advice would you give an aspiring author about the importance of foundational literary skills in their writing?
Oh, I think it's super important. I I'm so grateful for my English degree. I'm so grateful for teaching grammar. Literally a few minutes ago, I was doing a sentence and I had a comma, and I realized it was a gerund and I didn't need the comma. So knowing that level of grammar, I think, has been lost in education. But I think it is so important. And I think also, from a technical standpoint, if you don't do that, your sentences will all look the same. They'll all start to be
Mm,
these long, rambling sentences. And, I'm a big Steinbeck reader, so I sometimes like little short, punchy sentences to
right.
make the point. And for me, that also goes back to knowing grammar and knowing one of the rules too. I was always taught, you never use an exclamation point. Well, in romance, we get to use exclamation points. So I love grammar. I'm a
That's
nerd.
fantastic. Susan, thank you so much. That was wonderful insight on how a background in teaching and reading and writing can assist an aspiring author.
Thank you. And if you are interested in my book, please go out and look on Amazon for the Carrington Affairs. We have Audible, we have Kindle, we have hard and softback copies. So please check me out. And then when you read it, please let me know what you think. I'm on Susan Gooch, the author, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's interview with romance author Susan Gooch. Be sure to check out our website for more videos. Wishing you all a fulfilling and successful writing journey.